get into it in a backwards sense.
Everyone thinks about Baron Pit and Dragon when they think about blue side and red side.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
But when you think about the bottom lane and how bottom lane 2v2s work, if you're on blue side and you have the winning bottom lane, you can threaten the jungle a lot easier than you can on red side. So that's a pretty big boon here for DRX if they are worried about losing that bottom 2v2, because that is the expectation here coming into this first game. We'll see what GENG does first pick. They'll take away the Malphite, so that's not something they're interested in here at all.
Yeah, I wonder what the first pick is going to be if it isn't aiming for a Malphite. I know that, it has been played a little bit by Canyon so far this season, but we know that everyone was kind of spamming it beginning of the year. It's been pretty overpowered. As the Varus going to be taken away here from Geo, one of his sort of like stealth favorite picks. I know that we do like to see him on hyperscaling champions, but this is one that he can actually go toe-to-toe in the early game on. I actually really like that ban from GENG, because that is going to be where they punish hard, right? And so, Geo is not going to be able to scale his way into this.
We've seen a pretty jungle-focused draft here overall, but Azir and Orianna are up. Chovy gets his pick here, but it'll likely just be a trade, and with that Poppy ban, that is going to be the case. So see if they want to grab the Orianna or the Azir, and the Azir is so strong on this patch right now. I mean, I feel like I've said that for the last, like, I don't know, the whole time I've been here.
Yeah, it's been many years.
He was gone for like half a year, and that was it. Otherwise, he's been first pickable pretty much the entire time.
Obviously, Riot missed him a lot when he was going. They're like, never again. We're holding on to you for as long as possible. As Yunara and the Xin Zhao going to be locked in here. The Orianna was a consideration, but they decided in the end not to go for it. Pretty standard pickups here. And now GENG, what is it going to be? Is Canyon going to be playing something interesting in the jungle? Or is it like, imagine if they just locked Skarner and Cassante. I would just be so depressed.
They want more information about what's going to happen in the bottom lane before they lock in something like an Alistar that's been pretty strong with the Yunara. They grabbed the Xin Zhao, which has really fallen out of favor so far on patch 26.1, but it's a relatively safe pick here. Pantheon as a flex, can be played in the bottom lane. We saw it crush an Alistar Yunara lane just yesterday, but it could also be played in the jungle. And they'll grab the Corki, which is going to give you a lot of power there. It's one run of Ruler's best in the bottom lane. And since they didn't need to get the Orianna just yet, since the Azir was already locked, that'll be the round out here for DRX.
Well, let's see what GENG are going to finish this off with. Thankfully, UCal doesn't need to worry about being LeBlanc'd like Roma did yesterday. He, in fact, is already in a matchup against the Azir, and it's one that Orianna has done decently well in the past, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Having a look at some of these bans to come through next.
Could be support focused here. You know, you could take away the Bard, for example, if that's something you're concerned about. Anything that gives you a better chance to survive through this Corki lane, I think is going to feel good. Cassante is taken away instead here, however, first.
Yep. I actually think, yeah, the Keen Sante is certainly a good one to remove. We've actually seen Cassante have a lot of success, especially in the laning phase. We've seen like almost solo kills and things like that, even in the Rumble matchup and stuff like that. So it's certainly looking all right so far this season.
Lulu makes a ton of sense. A lot of laning power there. Almost guarantees you get through that lane. They'll take away a second tank here in the Scion.
Yeah. And
that is really interesting to see. We've seen tanks still be relevant on this patch worldwide, but seeing a lot more aggressive picks instead.
Duro is like, I think he needs a haircut.
Yeah,
I can't see his eyes right now.
Yeah, he's getting a little long. So am I. I haven't got my haircut in a really long time.
He's starting to look like an anime character, you know?
Yeah, he's getting close.
I don't know which one.
If he leans up slightly, like the shine on his glasses.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
There's the ban on the Bard here by GENG.
All right, so Brad has been gotten rid of. Geo now with first look, and it will be the Alistar taken away.
I mean, this makes sense when they ban the Bard and the Lulu. You're like, all right, well, those are the ones I was most worried about. Karma doesn't pair it as well with the Corki, and I think they need a little bit more engage here. Now, this could still just be Pantheon in the bottom lane. It looks like that's kind of the expectation here for DRX. We saw this exact matchup yesterday, as mentioned before. They Pantheon into the Alistar, and it looks like Renekton is going to be where Keen goes. Good old classic GENG, the Renekton, the Azir.
Yeah, I mean, at least this does stuff in the mid-game, right? It's not like the full-scaling mega tank, you know. At least Keen can sink his teeth into some stuff. Pun absolutely intended. Duro, are we going to be playing Pantheon, or are we going to be picking a support? That is the question here. Could be something interesting for Canyon. Just lock Nidalee, you know, just have some fun. It could be just like Renekton. Never mind, it's Nami.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's a ranged support.
Oh my god, Duro's teaching Ruler how to play Nami after he ran it down in the season opening.
He did run it down a little bit. Now, okay, this is something I didn't think we were going to see this early on in the season. The Kennen is actually having a great time as one of the best champions actually with the Gunblade in the top lane. And when you have the range advantage into a melee who's going to look to be a bruiser, look to be a big tool to lock down the AD carry, you're going to have to get through Kennen. The Gunblade is actually to be relatively valuable. You'll see what he ends up building, but there's a lot of rumors and rumblings right now of a lot of solo queue Gunblade being played for Kennen in the top lane. This is also an old favorite of Rich's. I do look at DRX's draft here and I think, you know, with the bans we had on the Lulu and the Bard, the Alistar feels okay. The Nami isn't going to crush it as hard. I think that lane is definitely playable. We get to a mid-game where Geo can finish his quest without finding himself 1,000 gold behind against Ruler, because that just tends to happen. But this draft could work here for DRX.
Yep.
It is, of course, GENG. It is keen on one of his all-time best picks. And they do get the Azir, which is mind-boggling. It was traded for the Orianna, but still. And they picked the Xin Zhao, which is a decent ball carrier. But yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sold, but I think it could work, Atlas.
I think on paper, this draft is something that could theoretically destroy a Nexus. However, we'll just have to see whether they can play that out on the Rift. That is going to be the biggest difficulty here. As we can see, on the GENG side, some very understandable picks outside of this Nami Corki lane, which we haven't really seen. Nami's generally reserved for Lucian almost every single time, but here we are, onto the Rift for game number 1 of our second day of the LCK Cup. All right, and that is going to be the only fan chance that I will speak through. From now on, it is going to be me on my best behavior, as Duro's going to get knocked up momentarily. A little bit of biffer already in this bottom side, as barrier is already down.
Yeah,
on
I don't
Geo.
think that's really the way you wanted to utilize it either.
Oh dear.
Well, this is still an Alistar at level 1, and now he's an Alistar at level 1 at about 60% health.
And you mentioned it already, like we have seen this. The Alistar lane did not exactly do the best work. I think it was Polu playing it yesterday. Also didn't exactly play it out all that well. But here's a flash pulverize onto both of them. Ruler taking a little bit of damage, but as you can see, yeah, they're dishing back a whole lot more.
And I think the heal being used instead of the barrier is such an advantage here, especially when you consider, obviously, Andal had to use his heal to set that up in the first place. Ruler still has his barrier. When they look for a potential all-in here with another stacked Q from Geo, the timing of that with the stacked Q from Geo allows him to do a ton of damage while the Corki's at level 1, but still, this is going to get tricky.
Oh, Pulverize only hitting onto 1. Fast bomb, bit more damage onto Andal here.
Level 2 about to be hit.
The battle for the minion wave is what it's looking like right now, and you can see level 2 has been gained, but only one more minion. There it is. And GENG will have access to an extra button. Ebb and Flow, Tycall's Blessing, these two things are pretty important, but you do want to have the Aqua Prison to be able to lock down the Alistar when he does decide to go in.
Notice the observers have not panned anywhere else, because this is what this meta is all about. And like, this is 3 summoners down, obviously for 1, as they're looking for another angle here. Ruler still has that barrier.
Yep.
And that's the key
does a
down.
bit of work, but not too much more. As we can see, we have moved to a different lane. As you can see, Rich having a pretty good time. Has gone for the Electrocute variant, wanting a little bit more burst damage in the lane phase. I kind of respect that, as Chovy taking a bit of damage from Yukal here as well. And Yukal, beginning of the year, often pretty dangerous. And I'm hoping he can hold on to that until later in the year as well.
Looking good so far here as Canyon is hiding that Tri-Brush. Here comes another Pulve combo.
Yeah, Ruler trying to get some damage down actually with that Valkyrie, as Andal's very, very close to dead. Geo just trying to protect his cow as Willa in this brush. I don't think he knows that he's been seen. Canyon's now going to move on forward. Nami Pantheon is actually a terrifying combo as well, because you can guarantee the Aqua Prison just with that point-and-click stun that the Pantheon does have. So Duro and Canyon are in the area. You could expect that if you are on your own, you're in a lot of trouble.
I gotta say, you know, I've made it pretty clear my expectations where I don't think DRX should fight fire with fire in the bottom lane, and they have been attempting to do exactly the opposite. They are fighting super hard with this Alistar. They used summoners early, and they've been able to maintain a decent amount of control here. They're a little bit far behind, or not far behind, but just barely behind in CS is what I'm really trying to say. It's 100 gold that Ruler has in advantage, but they've been able to get through this first back incredibly well. And yes, it was at the cost of a lot of summoners here, but see how this continues to go here as the Yunara, once she gets out of lane and once the quest is complete, is going to be a big threat later on.
Yeah, and already going better than what we saw from this exact lane last time around, into a slightly different matchup, but still one that can be very dangerous.
And this back too, DRX used one of their coach voices as well, perhaps resetting expectations for upcoming objective spawns. The Dragon, of course, the first on the menu here. And we have the Alistar kind of roaming around here a little bit. Don't see as much of this on this patch, but in this little bit of reprieve in the bottom lane, can try to get some additional vision here on the top side of the map. He's actually doing a great job of it right now with the prio they have in mid.
I actually kind of like using the coach voice like this a bit early on to get some added direction, you know, wondering whether or not they should continue all-inning on the bottom side of the map, whether they want to aim elsewhere and see whether they can maybe double down on Rich and the lead that he could gain on this champion. As Andil already out of lane. We were talking about a lack of support roaming. Well, Andil is bucking that trend. He's all about the support roaming, and they did take half of a health bar from Canyon. It's not exactly the most, but it's honest work.
Yeah.
As Andil going to look for another pulverize. He was just annoying Chovy here in this mid lane.
I'm not going to get too much out of this, as unfortunately Chovy isn't quite getting what he wanted there. But at the end of the day, you know, it's only a small deficit still for Geo in the bottom lane, and that could have worked out. Had Yukao had level 6, for example, could have actually been a pick there onto Canyon in the jungle. I like the pressure there. Looks like that was clearly communicated by the coaching staff, or at least that's the assumption I have, that something like that was being communicated to Andil, since he was the one making the proactive play there, the hide that you don't normally see in the jungle for that roaming support. Rich has level 6 here.
Yeah, Keen does find the Dominus now, and so will be a little bit safer in this lane. You can see Canyon also backing him up. Moving on over, spots the fact that the blue buff is now taken. And maybe some more fighting here towards this bottom side of the map, as now Ruler with that Gatling gun trying to see whether he can hit a cow. Might be able to do so, but Gio's going to be moving forward. They get the Valkyrie out. And so GENG playing a little bit scared here, and you can see about a 500 gold advantage for DRX to start this game off, despite there being no first blood or anything like that. It's just superior laning, largely from Rich here in this top side, in a matchup that we've been talking about for so many years. The Kennen versus Renekton seems to be doing still what it says on the tin.
Hasn't been that common recently, but making a bit of a comeback as Ruler takes a chunk.
Yeah, it's a large amount of damage there. Andil also taking a bit back in kind, but he does have that Triumphant Roar to help him out. Doro will be able to heal up Ruler momentarily with that ebb and flow. Level 5 going to be gained, and wow, that is a decent chunking to come on through there.
And this bottom lane has been pretty stable, honestly, for Gio and Andil, as Keen is going to look for a stun here.
Yeah, it does manage to at least get a Q off, but you can see Rich able to get a whole lot back as he does try to walk away. Dragon has been started here as well, as you can see. Canyon towards that top side of the map. It doesn't look like GENG are going to be able to stop this, so DRX utilizing their lane advantages.
Yeah.
Grab this neutral objective. Man, they're playing good, Wolf.
Yeah, this is a great start here for DRX, and like, frankly, the fact that they used their summoners early could have been a problem if there was a big fight there, but they backed away from that one where the junglers both showed up, right? You mentioned the Aqua Prison synergy with Canyon on the Pantheon. They were like, okay, let's walk away from this one, but nothing else happened, so they weren't punished for the summoner deficit. They've got both of their all their summoner spells, all three of them, back up now. This is the DRX coach comms.
Yeah. See Joker making sure that he lets them know exactly what they need to do. We'll get you some information there. Try to open fights and push mid and top and scare Canyon. That's what they're looking to do. And that was precisely what we saw immediately afterwards.
It's really a lot of information being shared and a lot of discussion about how to utilize the mid prio here coming through from Joker. And you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Fighting there.
Yeah. All right, Andil walking back to lane here, and he's going to get punished for doing so. Ruler still sitting at relatively low health, but they do manage to get that plate.
He's 10 CS up, which is really important for bottom lane quest progression. It's the lane that gets the most value out of that, and he gets the plate, so that is a pretty big win there on top of the CS advantage that he has. That was almost a kill's worth of gold in the lead. Grub's up now.
Yep. And there is a wave to be picked up by Geo as well. As okay, there's a pulverize as Canyon throws up the shield to try and keep himself safe. The flash out of the way. There's the shockwave. And Canyon looking in a whole lot of trouble. That's Willa locking down the kill. And first blood over to DRX.
DRX looking great in this opening game here. The punish onto Canyon was real. The fast collapse was there. The flash shockwave ends up being what does him in. Canyon is now down Keen in this tough matchup in the top side. Can't control top priority, and that's likely just going to turn this into a grub take. They already got first dragon. I don't think there's any play without Canyon on the map that can happen cross map here on the bottom side. So the Yunara is just sitting back and scaling. And Jovi's coming over here. Now, Yukal still doesn't have his ultimate. This is going to be a risky fight if GENG go for it. Canyon can ult in, and it looks like DRX will respect it.
Yeah, Emperor's Divide is available, no shockwave, so maybe that's something that DRX had on their minds. But it looks like Canyon just going to be clearing some vision. Might be able to tidy up these last two grubs. The first one being taken there by Willow, though, certainly very important. Make sure that he stays ahead.
Really measured gameplay just in general for DRX. Like, they know where their advantages are. They're playing slow. They're not taking unnecessary risks.
Yeah, it's just not what I was really expecting here. I kind of thought that GENG, the well-oiled machine, not changing their roster at all. Remember, this is a bunch of changes here for DRX. Geo moving in. You've got Willa now in the jungle as well. Vincenzo alongside him, but it's Willa that's starting here today. As Canyon will be the one to get on in here and take away at least one of these grubs. Willa can possibly go for a little bit of a late invade on this, but decides not to as Chovy had been roaming over anyway. So close to that 1,000 gold still here for DRX. We don't have any quest completions just yet. We'll be getting closer and closer to that as the flash forward, but the stun is really good. Slice and dice as Keen still looking for it. Doesn't quite manage to get that Ruthless Predator off, and Rich just playing real well on this cannon. You can really tell that this is one of his favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't use his ultimate there either because he knows there's a possibility Canyon's going to ult in and doesn't want to commit to the fight. Now, this ends up being Canyon a little bit greedy here. The punish comes through, but the domino effect of this play is that this flash Orianna ultimate here, as you watch Willer go through to guarantee this one, means there's no Orianna ult for the grubs. So, GENG do end up getting the grubs, or 2 out of the 3 as a result of this. So we're going to call the no flash here on the bottom side. Another Coach Com usage.
Yep. Get a little bit of a reminder of what we did get in those coach comms there as well. There's now Ruler and Duro clearing out some vision. You've got Willa once again in the area, though they are overloading this bottom side as once more Andel making things happen. Gets the exhaust down in trade for the flash. You'll say definitely worth for that one on the DRX side. As GENG just trying to kind of patch the holes in the ship right now, and DRX are making all the moves.
Yeah, this is a really, really interesting start, like subverting expectations. This does not look like Rise group behavior here.
No.
Out of DRX right now.
Well, remember, Worlds is in North America again this year.
Ooh.
And you know what that means for DRX? That means that they can go and try and defend their North American Worlds title.
That's right.
That they still hold.
Absolutely.
So there that is. I don't know whether this roster is going to be able to do it, but I definitely didn't know that the last one was going to be able to do it. So, I mean, this one maybe even looks better. Because, yeah, 2022 DRX kind of blows my brain.
Jiwoo has his first item, the Kraken Slayer, completed, and Ruler does not. He's stacking his tier now, but, you know, he's still a ways away from finishing that first item, the Triforce here. So, you know, a pretty big like setup across the map. Like, they ended up losing 2 of the grubs, but it doesn't necessarily matter in this draft. And at this point in time, like, the Yunara is actually comfortable laning into the Corki with the Alistair that has level 6. Willer, once again, is going to use this Prio a second time to grab control of this Drake, and they're going to get a 2 Drake lead off of this double Dragon at the start. And, you know, Canyon can try to make a play onto Rich, but look at how quickly he's pushed that up. He's relatively safe here.
Yeah.
That's their only cross map.
Yeah, GENG just kind of caught napping right now in this game, and Willa going to be able to take this one. We'll have a look at what our next... So, oh my, Earth, Wind, and Fire again? First game yesterday, first game today. Oh my goodness, it's my birthday. I love this.
All right, going to go for Rich.
Canyon is just going to kill Rich. That's what he's going to opt in for here, and Rich is going to do his best, but yeah, Slicing Maelstrom not going to be doing too much. And so GENG, they are on the board. I still think that getting that second Drake probably still very valuable here for DRX. And losing Rich, not going to be the end of the world.
It looked for a while like Rich was backing pretty safely. I think he stopped channeling his back. He was in that brush, and that was the go button there. Canyon was in position. He knew there was a possibility because he's like, well, they're not contesting Dragon. This could happen to me, as we'll watch this again. Yeah, he's in. He stops his recall on the ward, and Canyon's like, well, Get him.
Yeah.
I think you got to finish those. He does not have his Gunblade yet at this moment. Did have the Vamp Scepter, that's all, and the Alternator in his inventory. Does have it now.
Yeah, he's put that together. My favorite item in League of Legends. Just so glad.
I think this is the first time we are seeing it. I didn't think we saw it yesterday.
Yep, so far today. We did see an Akali ban. I know that she'd probably like to build it. But this is going to be the first time. There's that other new item, the weird Trinity Force-ish type thing that's not Lich Bane.
Oh, Dusk and Dawn?
Yeah, but apparently that's not very good on Canon, based on a question that was asked to Zeus earlier on.
That's a Jax item now, it seems like.
You can build it on Diana.
Yeah.
Building it on Diana a little bit. It's kind of fun. I imagine Mordekaiser uses it relatively well.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one.
Well, the UI dropped, so I thought something special was happening here, but it doesn't look like it. As Rich,
it looks a lot more cinematic now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Maybe we can just leave it down forever. We just like, from now on,
it's like StarCraft Brood War. You kind of have to know what's going on.
You have to tell. It's pure tempo vibes. It's the only way that we'll ever know. As Ruler does a lot of damage to Jiu, I'd say that Ruler has the tempo vibes. As we do get back a little bit of UI here, so that we do know a little bit more about what's going on.
On this flank here, I don't think really wants to engage.
Ooh, decides to go in though. There's the stun back. Duro not quite in position to get an Aqua Prison down.
Chovy has no prio, so I guess this does kind of work out if they can set up for this control of the Tri-Brush, or rather the Banana Brush.
Yeah,
and it's not going to amount to anything.
Sneaky Slurkle does come on through there, but not too much more. As Canyon once more, there's that combo we were talking about. And he'll probably not going to be dying, but Jiu, he might, because he's down extraordinarily low. Barrier not going to be saving him from that one, but he does manage to dash away and flash away to safety just in the nick of time. But that is using every single resource that they will not have. May not be enough to defend this turret.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a problem here. Chovy gets back control of the mid lane as well with this rotation over of Yukao. We'll be able to catch this wave. Chovy committed heavily, to try to come over there and make a play happen. I think that's why they hard forced there, because they were like, all right, well, if we don't do this, Yukao's just going to go back mid. We're going to lose more plates. And then they heavily committed. They got Yukao to come down there. They got the flash out of Jiu and an additional plate gold. So ends up being a pretty big win here for GENG. Are only 500 gold behind now in this game. The Grubs will be pretty relevant for the Azir. And the side lane does have his Nashor's Tooth now online. Strybreaker's up here for Keen. This next Dragon fight is going to be the first real potential grouped fight of the game. This Herald is actually maybe even a little bit faster. I just don't think GENG are set necessarily for the best contest here.
Well, Canyon can move in and does have the Grand Starfall as well. They are looking for a fight here by the looks of things. Tidal Wave available. There's the flash out by Pulverize, though. It's a Sandal that decides to go in onto Ruler. The heal comes through, though, and he's now kept himself safe as Keen from the top side, and now it's GENG's turn to put their weight into the fight. Let's see what they can find. A Slicing Maelstrom does absolutely nothing. The flash forward from Canyon, and the flash away from Rich is going to keep him alive as now Chovy looks for his angle, decides not to pull the trigger on the flash, and just gets rid of all of DRX. And GENG says, this is my Herald.
It's incredible this game is a 2-kill game.
Yeah.
And nobody dies, but it is the big prize of the Herald that goes over to GENG here. All in attempt.
Yeah, G looking for that angle there as Ruler does have his barrier, uses it, but it's not to the full effect. G is still looking a bit worse for wear, though, as Ruler now with that Trinity Force is pretty deadly.
Yeah, not to mention that Gio used his ultimate there and won't necessarily have it for an upcoming fight. That was a good, points for trying there on that one, I suppose.
Oh dear.
And
Chovy's getting a lot of money.
Yeah, that's somewhat of a problem. He does obviously have his quest completed as well.
That number says 192, and it's only 17 minutes into the game. What does it mean?
Yukao's staying in touching distance with him as well.
That's true, actually. They are both Chovying effectively.
Yeah, he has had a pretty good game himself on this Orianna. He unfortunately was not there, and I guess we're not going to get a replay because nobody died, but when that engage came through from Wheeler, imagine a shockwave on top of that. Would have been massive, but he was not there, and they were able to retreat. It was a beautiful retreat from DRX, but they lose the objective.
Zandil will be taking a fair bit of damage here. Doesn't quite have the ulti back up and available, so he was killable in that moment, but relatively close to the turret, so he's absolutely fine. As Canyon has started this dragon off, Willer in the area. That is sole point for DRX if they're going to go for it. As you do have Rich moving up there from the bottom side, as now Andal goes in. I don't know about that one, as he does get put into that bubble. And now has to use the ultimate. Won't have that for this upcoming fight, which could be a big problem. Tidal Wave to lock down Willer. As now Chovy gets the Emperor's Divide, finds the bottom lane, and wipes them out. Willer now in trouble as well, and that should guarantee the Dragon. GENG were a little sleepy at the beginning of this game, but I think, Wolf, they have woken up.
Yeah, it's Chovy again finding this angle. He had the back into the TP into the last fight. Wasn't able to catch them when he came in, but was able to guarantee that DRX needed to be so far away from the Herald, and then this time actually sets up the kill onto the flashless Yunara. And now Rich is the next target here. Does not have his slicing Maelstrom, and he is not long for this world.
He is very dead. Chovy going to be grabbing his next one. 2-0-1 now on the Azir. 500 gold lead. As you can see, GENG going to augment that with a Drake take as well. Quadra Infernal, if this game does go that long, could be pretty impressive. And they've skyrocketed to a 3,000 gold lead. Let's see how this all started.
Yeah, unfortunately, Willer here on this Xin Zhao just isn't going to be able to make a big impact when we look for a fight like this, because he just doesn't have setup CC. And the fact that Canyon could just stun him into this ultimate coming through from Duro means he cannot get back to defend anywhere in mid. And Chovy's just like, all right, well, the jungler's gone. There's no peel here. The Alistar's ult was popped already. I'm just going to look for the freebie. Could see him come down here and look for it. Knows there's no flash on the Yunara. Has the perfect shuffle in. Grabs a bonus Alistar for his troubles.
Yep, no flash required as well. So we'll have that for the upcoming fight at the same time. It went about as well as it could possibly here for GENG. Everyone with their quest completed though, and we'll see what the utilization of those is going to look like as this game goes on. A level 20 Crocodile sounds very, very frightening, but Rich could also get himself into a pretty dangerous position. As you can see, trying to kite Keen out here, and the Dominus is going to come through. Slicing Maelstrom in response, as Rich is still dangerous, but it's Willer that's moving in first now, but still just a solo bolo for Keen. And Canyon going to come down and help out. There is the stun, and down will go Willer for the double. And man, we were saying that Rich could be a point of power. Well, that has gone.
Yeah, this is a big problem now. That's the second turret to go down here for GENG. Plates are available for the entirety of the game now, so keep that in mind, as that last plate there on the top side, that last turret is also going to go down. So this will be the third, plus an extra plate for Chovy.
Oh dear.
And it's starting to look like this game is well and truly GENG's to lose, as Rich here unfortunately gets very little out of his slicing Maelstrom here. And Willer comes over to try to help, but he's just another victim here now, as Canyon can show up with his ultimate. It's a numbers game. They thought they were winning, but they forgot about Pantheon, forgot about Canyon.
Just didn't quite work out there, and even using the ultimate to absolutely no effect whatsoever is a very sad thing. So Andil taking a lot of damage here as well, as Ruler throws the fast bomb out, but Andil will be able to walk away. And DRX, despite all of that early game power that they had, it is all kind of slipped away. And we'll see whether they can do anything about it, because it just feels like this game is just being taken by GENG.
The third and final coach voice is used here for DRX for the last moments.
Oh, Tidal Wave was a little bit expectant there from Duro. Doesn't quite find the angle as well. That was really cute. Chovy, though, just going to throw Yukal away. The slice comes in, but that is going to be the double for Rich. Comes in and wipes them out. Ruler now able to answer back with the kill onto the Yunaras. Rich is now looking to wipe him out. He will be able to do so. He's now looking for some fish food, as Duro will be taken. And he heard what we were saying after he got solo killed. Well, the killer is right here now and looking to try and tidy up. They're looking to kite him, though, and Keen's in trouble. Pulverize comes down. It's a Quadra from Rich.
All right, we were saying it may have been GENG's game to lose. They very, very well have lost at least the lead with this play here. Keen, the raid boss, okay, up 3 levels there on one of his victims in that last exchange, but also gives his life and his teleport to make the play happen. Now, Key, look at the minimap. He was pinging. He wanted to interrupt Rich's teleport, but I guess wasn't able to do so. Rich has been able to flash the wall here with a slicing Maelstrom. The other side of the fight is super broken up. Ruler's able to use his barrier to great effect to take out Giu here, but this might have actually been a Baronable exchange. Keen gets into the backside here with the teleport. It takes him so long to kill this level 12 jungler, though, and then Rich can come over and join. Still ends up doing a ton here. Gets Yukal's flash as well before he goes down. So Keen's heroics not completely in vain.
얘들아 그 마지막 턴 썼는데
And having a listen here to what Joker is saying, I imagine what he said was pretty important, because it did manage to get them back into this game. And DRX, let's see whether they can ride this momentum, because I was really scared. Judging by what we saw yesterday, the games have tended to fall out of control relatively quickly. This is DRX being able to pull themselves back in, though. You can see 1.5k is basically nothing. They already have those 2 dragons.
Yeah, apparently
that's fantastic.
But we didn't know, but this is Joker's realm. He's like, I've been waiting for Coach Voice.
Yeah.
This has definitely been the most aggressive utilization of it we've seen so far, and it has been incredibly impactful for this squad right now. And I mean, looking at the game state here, it's still Ruler with a pretty huge advantage here. Chovy as well, you know, sitting on 2 items with the upgraded boots is a big threat. And I'm looking at this game state thinking, okay, how do DRX win? Maybe a pick in the side lane here could be a first start.
Yeah, Slurkle going to come on through there as now Chovy does find the Emperor's Divide onto Gio, who's tanking up the turret, but it does not matter. That is just going to be Willa turning up, helping Gio grab himself the kill. That will also take down this turret. Keen doing the same thing towards the bottom side of the map, and it looks like a Dragon in trade as well.
I mean, they've got to start Baron right now. They have to make a snap call. There's no Coach Voice for this one. You're out, used all 3. And let's see. Okay, we're going to see the teleport over here from Yukao. They are going to stick the Baron. They've got one more chance at this game. This could be what wins it for them if they can secure this.
Yeah, this could be a big deal. It's already down to 50% as Ruler and Druid. They know exactly what's going on. Andal waiting offside, though, as you can see. Canyon will be showing up. Keen gets here as well. Canyon trying to get himself into this pit. Can he actually flash for it? The answer is no. They take down the cow immediately, though, and DRX, they're just looking to try and get themselves out after securing this Baron. And if they just lose the cow, 100% worth. If they lose Willer as well, probably still worth.
I mean, Chovy's TPing in to try to rush down this turret. He is in his ear on 2.5, perhaps even 3 items here. Okay, this on 2. And the Dark Seal, but he could do a lot of work to this turret. Rich is going to come over here and try to defend it. Keen also level 16, but doesn't have his ultimate. I think this is absolutely worth for DRX. Remember as well, Canyon dropped Dragon to come up to try to defend the Baron, so they didn't actually get the second Dragon of the game here. They will now, but it's going to require a lot of time, and they're not going to be able to have as much pressure on the map as a result of it. Andal's going to TP here mid to help defend. And DRX hang on in this game, still 2,500 gold behind. It's even Drakes now. But this Yunara becomes a bigger and bigger threat as we go on. And the team fighting power of this Kennen, if it can be realized fully with a flank, with a nice TP, is still so potent that it's anyone's game to win now.
I would agree. I do think one of the scary things is that Ruler is like 50 CS up, right? This Corki is incredibly dangerous. With the Collector now completed, sitting on 3 items, and is only going to get more scary from here. Gio, of course, once that Infinity Edge is done, he will also be a terrifying threat. But for right now, Ruler is the guy to watch out for. We saw that in that fight. He just kind of blew Gio up before he could do anything.
You can see sometimes in game states like this, if you haven't hit a turret for a while, that crystalline overgrowth is there, and DRX are like, all right, well, if you guys don't come over, I will kill this turret in about 2 seconds flat. So that's a lot of gold sitting there for the taking, as well as a lot of map control, and they will just get this group up and take it.
Oh, the flash forward from Willa doesn't actually get enough, as Ruler was able to get that Valkyrie off in time. That could have been a huge moment. It wasn't actually the case, as now Rich has made his way in.
Yeah, that was a strange teleport there for Rich. Doesn't really have an angle, unfortunately, and just there's no objective either. That was a bit bizarre. But it's going to help them control some of this vision here. They have great vision and setup for a dragon that doesn't exist.
True.
If GENG had to rotate over to take this dragon, they'd be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
They, however, do not.
They could practice taking the dragon with the amount of control they do have. That is 100% true. But only a 2,000 gold lead. And they only need to get themselves another couple of Drakes and they can grab an Infernal Soul. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to get the last couple.
They still have Baron to siege this turret here. I mean, they're just going to say, well, we're going to get something out of this Baron no matter what.
Well, Tidal Wave to come on forward here as well. Teleport in from Keen at the same time as the Dominus has been popped. He's looking for his angle, wants to get on top of Gio, but decides not to commit the flash. And they do have this tower falling down in the bottom lane, sorry, in the top lane, as well as the bottom. As you can see, Rich was taking care of that one. As now Ruler stepping forward, taking matters into his own hands here as the Arc of Judgment not doing quite, sorry, the Arc of Ruin not quite doing enough there from Gio. As DRX a little worse for wear, and the Baron only 5 seconds to go, not exactly getting the most value.
Yeah, this is a great game, man. I mean, DRX look on the back foot constantly, but they're trying to get these small incremental things. And if it was in any other team, you'd be like, oh, this is a little rough. But it's GENG they're doing it into, right? When you consider the context of how much macro this team has been able to pull off in this game. Sure, Chovy's running circles around them right. He gets the top turret there. It's a trade of turrets, or a trade of a turret for plates there in the mid lane. But Rich still got the bottom turret. They got the TP out of Keen. They're getting small advantages here. It's still a 2-2 Drake game. It's going to be one of our longest games, if not the longest game, if things continue at this rate here of LCK Cup 2026 thus far. Of course, small sample size.
Yeah, I mean, we
6
did
games.
We did have some longer games in our first series yesterday, but I feel like it wasn't ever this much back and forth. It felt like there was one team that did find themselves a decent advantage by at least this time, right? But we've got even Drakes. Everyone's finished their quests. We've got level 17s for both of our top laners.
I mean, look at the items on Rich. He has his Void Staff.
Yeah, he's very scary.
IE is done for
Jill gets the flash out of Durit. Very nicely done there is now Keen, the one in trouble. Willer and Rich looking to catch up to him, but he just slices away. No flash required, and of course, flash on Renekton going to be so incredibly important because this is Jiu without cleanse, right? He has the barrier, and so that means this Ruthless Predator will be so valuable.
He does still have Flash, which is critical. Ruler has Flash and Valkyrie, so locking him down with this cannon is going to be nigh impossible. And I think that's the problem that DRX are somehow going to solve, not to mention that Chovy is massive as well and has an arm guard. Both carries so safe for GENG.
Well, Canyon just going to make his way in as now Yukal has to flash to get himself out of the way. Jiu slowed down so he cannot get into the fight, and Andal, he's tanking up so much, but there's no one to follow up. Rich this time couldn't make his way in despite having Flash up and available, and now it's Willer that's in a lot of trouble. They do find that fantastic shockwave, but it's just not enough. Keen gets in there. Chovy gets the Emperor's Divide, which will turn Yukal golden, but unfortunately that does not avoid death. That's a clean ace, and GENG are just going to run over them.
All right, I guess it just isn't going to be that long back and forth game. The back and forth ends on GENG's fourth.
A relatively short back and forth. Let's go with that, because it was definitely back and forth. However, if you lose a fight like that at this time of the game, you will just lose the game. Inhibitor goes down, and GENG will be able to take down these turrets. But I imagine they are also impressed with how DRX played this game, especially in the early stages. This is a new roster that has a lot of pieces that haven't quite gelled together yet, and I didn't really have a whole lot of hope for this squad moving into 2026, and I have so much more now.
Yeah. I gotta say, I mean, the story of this game is coming down to a big flub here for DRX, with Andal just kind of going in alone, the rest of the team retreating, and they got cut off. It was a really cool shockwave set up there as well to almost kill Ruler in a desperate attempt, but it wasn't enough to save the game. But I think the story that people will remember from this game is not that GENG won, but they almost and potentially could have lost to DRX. Like, if you take your thumb and your index finger, right, and like snuff out a candle, that's the expected result, right? But if you open it back up and the flame is still there, you're like, okay, that's interesting. But then GENG did it a second time.
I've seen someone do that trick before, and it is very interesting when that does happen.
I think that DRX, especially in terms of macro and their setup and their early game plan here, kind of blew me away. In terms of expectations, I did not really have any for them coming into this series. And I still think GENG is likely going to close this one out in the next game, but that was really, really impressive. And if this is the day one look for DRX, it can only get better from here.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the biggest test that they're going to have. Like, this is GENG. Domestically, they are the best. We've seen it all last year. They haven't changed the roster. Theoretically, we should not change that opinion, right? Until, you know, T1 with Pays just kind of stomp every single game. That could happen, but not so far. GENG looking real good here in game number 1, but we'll see what happens after we come back from the break in game number 2. See you soon.
그냥 구워볼게. 앞으로 나가줄래?
얘네 갈렸다.
알리부터. 오리아 노플.
알리부터 내려, 알리부터.
오리아 노플이야.
알 잡았어.
미드가. 남이 일로 와.
일명 막는다. 일명 막았어.
에 넘어갈게.
괜찮아.
맞아.
여기 오리아나 노플. 어디? 와우. 자, 시원한데요?
끝난 거 같은데?
끝난 것 같아.
Yeah, and we've seen actually DRX deciding to go for second pick rather than opting in for first pick or picking blue side or anything like that. And so it will now be GENG with first pick priority and also the blue side, which is what we used to get from first pick. So an unlikely sort of situation here, but we did see it not be unanimously just first pick every single time, with blue side being the response. So see what is going to change is already the Nico going to be banned away first, and the Rumble as well taken away. So the same bans from game number 1.
Love to see the Ryu crouch. He's
he's zoning in.
He's not just going to make it a voice thing. He's making eye contact. As a Silas ban means one thing and one thing only.
We want a first pick Malphite.
Well, it means that you're banning Malphite in this rotation. But yes, that is what it means. If you do not ban it, we will pick it. They banned Jace instead.
All right. Well, Jace has been, this is his 7th ban so far in the LCK Cup. Certainly has been something that's been happening a lot. Do you know what? I'm into short hair Chovy. I think short hair Chovy might be a thing from now on.
Yeah, no, he looks like he's going through a new complete arc. Like he's on a reset.
Yeah. It was I think it was Arnold that was tweeting about it. Some of the shoots came out for the new GENG outfits.
Yeah, it looks
and
good.
I think a lot of people were worried, oh, they just did their basic training, they're not gonna have and then Chovy has that photo shoot. Damn.
He's got some bad boy energy.
He certainly does.
He's limit broken. And as his hair grows a second time, his power will grow with it.
Oh man, is that how it works? You sort of trim it back so it can come back stronger?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. All right.
He's gonna showcase, I'm sure, a 3rd item actualizer on this Rise here that he first picked to prove how much power he has.
Yeah, everyone's getting a glimpse into what was spoken about for the entirety of the pre-game before we got into today's matches.
That's a strong combo.
All right.
These ultimates will pair incredibly well with each other here for DRX, and they have the counter pick for the Rise, so they left it up. Banned away the Jace and the Malphite, then they get the Cassiopeia counterpick to the Rise. They looks like expected based on how quickly they lock those in. Let's see what the response is going to be here for Canyon.
We'll see what it is going to be. It's not going to be Xin Zhao, which we have seen paired alongside the Rise quite often, but looks like this is a possible monkey angle or the
Ambessa jungle, which has been still popular in the LPL.
And something that Canyon has actually been finding a lot of success on in the new season.
So some strong flexibility here again for GENG.
Yep. Keen Ambessa is also, very likely.
See what gets locked in here. Might give us an additional hint, as you don't want to necessarily split your bottom duo here. So we'll get either a jungler and the Wukong or a top laner, and it will be the Wukong to come through.
Okay, so Ambessa top, and the Wukong will be in the jungle this time around.
Let's see if Rich is I'm playing Gnar. Just going to grab Bard, just push that prio up and say we want a range support. We're going to have Bard, which also pairs incredibly well with Cassiopeia and Jarvan.
Yeah, I actually kind of like this as the combo, Having Tempered Fate and the Cataclysm can be very, very valuable. Setting up for great Cataclysms is also really good with the Tempered Fate. I feel like it is pretty flexible with what you can do with it.
There's so many picks that do fine into Ambessa left in the meta, so, you really can just pull a support out here and be try to protect the Ambessa. You only have 2 bans, and Rich has already shown he's happy to play the Kennen. They're not even going to try for it.
He is going to play Cassante, though, isn't he? If given the opportunity.
He might. I think it would suit the comp so far, but it also could be something completely different. He could go Jax here, look for some side laning power. It's been an old favorite of his. The Gnar is a little bit niche, but making a little bit of a comeback right now. I don't think he's going to be the one to play GP. So support bans going down here. The Varus gets taken away. They don't want to lane into that Varus. It was banned in game 1, but Varus Bard, which is a very oppressive lane. And Wukong, Rakan, incredibly powerful too. And they already have a lot of dives set up here with this Ambessa and the Realm Warp. They can set it all up. So Rakan and Nautilus both kind of make sense here.
Yeah, I actually think getting rid of a lot of that engage is going to be a great option. There's still Rel. Duro, certainly a fantastic Rel player, so it could be the option as far as starting off fights, might be what they're looking for. But one final ban to come through here from GENG, and it will be the Sivir taken away. So they're going to stay with the bottom side of the map as their focus.
I think you can't play Aphelios here. It doesn't work. It's too risky. It almost feels like a Zeri angle, even though Zeri Bard is not necessarily the lane where you're looking for all-ins. It would just be blind if they locked it here now, so they'll probably save it for that final pick. But I'm curious now where we're headed here for Rich, because he's the one who's going to get this lock-in here. And it's going to be Sion. Okay, so not going to be looking for an aggressive pick, a strong side laning pick, just looking for a tank, which reinforces the idea that it is going to be a strong scaling AD carry pick like that Zeri here, potentially for Jiwoo in this final position.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
On the other hand, could be incredibly powerful for GENG here.
Yeah, it's not. I was thinking Lucian because there is the Jarvan, and Cataclysm can be, you know, somewhat mitigated with that Relentless Pursuit. Of course, Ezreal fits that bill as well, and the Lucian's more difficult to pick because you don't have the Nami option. Of course, Braum is still there, but it's kind of interesting that we've seen Nami picked up already in this series.
I think they're just going to Karma here. The movement speed is very useful. They already have tons of hard engage. They don't need an engage support here. The Rakan and Nautilus would have paired really well with everything they already have, but they're just going to look to crush the lane. They don't care what AD carry it is. I'd say that, but it's the classic instead. Dura pulling out the Leona, the last one left, and it's just going to be Jhin here for Gio. So instead of going for that scaling hyper carry, is going to look for somebody to follow up on all this front line. They have the Jarvan, they have the Sion, the Cassiopeia will do a lot of consistent damage later on. Great pick into the Rise. Take the nameplates off here. I feel like these drafts are almost dead even.
I mean, I'm a little bit worried though at the lack of damage on the DRX side, right? Like, so much of this is going to come from Yukal, and he is very single target. Outside of his ultimate, he's going to be wanting to Twin Fang someone that's in range, and he doesn't have a whole lot of that. You look at GENG, I mean, there are 4 threats.
There's 4 threats. Ezreal's range is going to be a problem for objective setup, so positioning is going to be really important. But I do think Ruler is going to spike pretty late in this game. The traditional 2-item spike for Ezreal has not really been as powerful on this patch, but we've seen double tier builds as well coming through, which might be what we see. We saw that from Smash yesterday. I'm not 100% sold on that right now. I think it's a little bit slow, but with a draft like this, he could certainly pull it off. If he wins this hard because of his mid laner as Showmaker set up for Smash yesterday, then maybe it just doesn't matter, but I'm really curious about Chovy's build as well, because that is going to be an insane amount of damage output if he hits 3 items, gets that actualizer online. And like you said, there is a bit of a range issue here outside of the Jhin, which is so easy to engage on with the comp that GENG has.
Yep, and if DRX can get a snowball rolling, then nothing of what I say about scaling and damage and all that sort of stuff is going to matter, as here we are onto the Rift for Game 2. All right, let's get into it. See whether DRX can once again have a good start. I think the bottom side, like lane matchup in the first few levels, way better this time around for DRX. And we'll see whether they can leverage that as Chovy and Yukal doing a bit of battle here, but not too much to worry about. And there's already Coach Voice Wolf.
Yeah, I actually didn't hear who, in fact, pressed it. DRX pressed it.
DRX are really good at pressing the Coach Voice button.
Yeah, they did press it a lot. They pressed it all 3 times. Joker may have even pressed it a 4th time and then was told by the referees, in fact, he's used all 3 of his voice comms.
That may have actually happened. Well, let's see what the plan is going to be. I think, like, isn't it a little bit of a waste? Weren't you just talking to them in the draft? Could you not have, like, you know, all of this is pretty pre-plannable.
Yeah.
If we're going to talk about, like, Coach Voice meta, this may have been a misuse. As Dura goes in, level 1 is not exactly the highest value there, as both heals are going to get popped. Actually a decent trade there for GENG, despite them having the melee support. Ruler is actually sneaking in a lot of these Mystic shots. As I said, that he misses one, but has been pretty good at evening up these trades here in this lane.
Yeah, now the level 2s here for Duro. There's a little bit more fight in this bottom lane, but with the minion advantage here for DRX, that is going to be the end of any opportunities. Just going to back away and look for Mystic shots to clear those minions first.
Yep, of course you do want level 3 so that you can actually press Eclipse when you go in. Having the Zenith Blade, shield is going to be good, right? The combination for the stun, but if you're just then immediately going to die, it can be problematic, and maybe just Aftershock not going to be enough. So you do kind of want that level 3. See whether they do go for any all-ins at that stage, as now Willa is looking for this invade. Might actually be able to steal this one away. Okay, Canyon moving on now towards his Krug camp. I don't think Canyon wants to give this up and does still have the vision here. There is a magical journey and actually great use of the cosmic binding. Of course, that is a problem with the warrior trickster, is the fact that you can set up for that stun, and great use of it there by Andil.
Did not even notice until it procced that Andil has taken electrocute here, which is pretty aggressive.
Ooh.
Did end up doing a little bit of extra damage there, but doesn't amount to a kill.
설계 실패했네.
Yeah,
바텀
let's
그 설계하지 까비.
have a listen, see what Joker is saying here.
진짜 뽑으면 되는데 바로.
He's not happy, I think, about the fact that they lost brush control there, but he's talking about the lane setup at level 1.
Yep. Just making sure that they know exactly what they need to do. Get that early setup sorted out. And for different compositions, it can be different, so maybe they just didn't have enough time to discuss it before we actually loaded onto the Rift. Making sure that everyone is on the same page is going to be a good thing. As GENG currently behind about 200 gold, so Coach Voice worth 200 gold so far in this game.
Indeed.
Don't know whether
we
that's
still have
entirely true, but you know what I mean.
We have the cocoa potions and the special cookies as well on this patch. I didn't realize that was still a thing.
Oh,
at least in the UI. I don't know if that's actually in game. I don't think it is. I thought the Rift, yeah, the Rift's changed. Anyway, in the UI, it's cool. It's still Christmas.
Yeah. And it's not. It's actually a really long time before we've got Christmas. Because as soon as Christmas is over, then it becomes like, you know,
no, Alice,
300 days until next Christmas.
Gingerbread cookies in the inventory. It's still Christmas season. Nobody's ever eaten a gingerbread cookie outside of the holiday season, ever, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're just not quite as good because they're obviously a bit stale. But they are still fine. We do have a little bit of a battle here as Ruler Arcane shifting forward, finds the stun though to Xandil, as Ruler now going to flash over the top of G, will be able to lock down the kill. Grabs that one for first blood and is looking for another. Stays alive by getting into the brush to avoid dying to the minions. And GENG already off to a phenomenal start this time.
I have to watch again. I think Gio was like just moments away from hitting that final shot. He's flashed on there, does not get the fourth shot there. Ruler survives with a sliver of health, and is then able to clean up with some help from Duro there in the final moment, as Andil is unable to get that blast auto. The brush as well, you mentioned, preventing the minions from really getting involved, and it's 2 kills here to GENG. So the initial setup here is on to Gio. First shot, right? He's trying so hard to get that 4th shot out. Flashes on him.
Man,
he's so close to it. And then Leona here gets the stun, gets into the brush, the minion aggro is dropped. And Ruler survives with, I didn't see exactly much health, but it looked like sub 20.
Yeah, it was definitely the lower end of the double digits. We'll say that. So Ruler really playing that one to the limit. And if he had have died, would have still been a huge win.
Yeah, no.
That's the ridiculous part, is now Chovy trying to sidestep some of this, but the ulti does come through from Yukal. Now Chovy with that phase rush is looking to try and run away. Can he get back into the run warp? He can, and that is going to get him to safety. Nicely done there, but does have to use a whole lot. Not the flash, though, just Ghost.
Yeah, just Ghost. He did take Ghost this game. We've discussed this a little bit, starting with the pre-show even yesterday, but Rise takes Ghost most of the time in this meta because of the empowered recalls you get and home guards.
Home guard power, as Canyon will be backing away. Good sidestep from the Deadly Flourish, but still Andil going to be able to get that electrocute proc with a bit of a meep slap. DRX now setting up for a Dragon by the looks of things. As Chovy looking a bit worse for wear here in this mid lane, but will be able to get that wave shoved in. And that means that Yukal will be able to make his way back there to pick that one up. And so a little bit of respite given to GENG. So we do have that reset coming through. So Chovy looking to home guard his way back to this mid lane. Doesn't quite have, anything put together just yet towards that Rod of Ages, but we'll have that one coming relatively quickly. In this top lane, haven't really seen too much of it, but you can see Keen having a better and better time as this game goes on. Ambessa doesn't really worry too much about tanks.
Keen's like, imagine trying to hit a charged Q on Ambessa.
Yeah.
Good luck. He dashes 17 times.
Bit of a release date situation here.
Oh, almost on that one. Not quite. They still got the slow.
Wait. So, but, Sion's a really old champion, right? Was out like in the release of League of Legends, but he wasn't this champion. So release date is not actually release date for Sion, is it? It's release date for the rework for Sion, which was like a few years ago.
Wasn't Sion like originally green colored as well, like his face?
Yeah, he was a bit odd. He did have only one button as well. As now Chovy going to have to flash out of the way of that Cataclysm. Nicely done there from Willa to get that coveted summoner spell from this Rise.
At a heavy cost, by the way. This is why supports don't roam that much. It worked out pretty well for Andil last time around, but this time it's going to cost him 2 plates, right? 2 plates.
Oh, I think it may have gone, but we can't actually
move, Jen. I can't see that.
I think it might still be there.
Yeah, it's still up. I saw like the edge of the 4, I think, on the minimap.
Yep.
Well, I didn't see any gold go over, so that was kind of the biggest tip, or a hint, but
The 4 is the big deal. And having a Jin standing next to a 4 feels correct.
He just doesn't want us to see it.
Yeah. When that plate does go down, Gio's going to have to go to the top lane where it says 4 still.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what's going to happen. Then convince Chovy to take a plate in mid lane so that then he can park himself there.
Coach voice for GENG, by the way, this time around.
All right. We'll be able to have a listen to what Ryu is going to be saying. One thing that is kind of cool is the fact that it's Joker versus Ryu. These guys have worked together before, and that's why you saw the camaraderie when they did that fist bump walking back both times after both of these first games. Certainly still remaining friends, even though now on very different teams as it was being K-Furex before this. So pretty cool.
Yeah. Ruler's going to easily be able to sidestep that one. I think that the discussion probably was around setting up for this dragon with the prio they have on bottom side, as that is exactly what they are doing now. Canyon is on vision, but he's also very aware that no one can really come over here and stop him. He has flash and ult, and he is ready to use it. Yukel, he's creeping over, but I don't know if he should be.
Yeah, he's on vision himself, but you got the miasma going down. There's the knock-up onto Chovy, remember. Doesn't have the flash. True Shot Barrage sails through, though, as Yukel has to flash away. Does manage to find the Petrifying Gaze, but it is still going to be him that falls down. And the Cyclone is going to lock up the Bard as well. So sad meep sounds and 2 kills to GENG.
I mean, Yukel went for the 1 in a million play there on trying to shut down the Wukong. It was very cool. It did still not work, unfortunately, for him. It looked very impressive, the timing of that miasma coming out. Or Petrifying Gaze.
There is the barrier going to be used as G now looking for it. Oh, the reloading! So problematic, as Ruler is going to be able to dive off to the side with the Arcane Shift. Still, Jiu is alive, and that is good news. Deadly Flourish not going to quite land.
Jin should have upgraded his clip.
Yeah, this is the problem. One day.
Wait. Actually, no way. If he, okay, he saves it.
I mean, Duro's coming in, there's the flash out, and Andrew just slaps him down. Just overstaying the welcome as now Keen could actually be there. The flash forward, and Rich is able to lock down the solo bolo. Chovy is going to be able to answer it here most likely. And we'll just need another Q or 2, and Rich will be going down. Does get the Soul Furnace, so we'll be buying a little bit more time as, oh, don't tell me he gets out. Do not tell me he does not get out, thank goodness.
Well, in exchange, Yukel is going to grab that outer plate, the first one, which is really small, and is working on a second one here. Doesn't really have any AP, so it's going to take a little while, but is getting a little bit of a chunk into this one. Not quite able to get the second plate, but still a significant amount of damage goes over. Oh, a little grubby!
Oh, there we go. And that's with 3 grubs, so that is going to tick down just a little more, but let's have a listen to the coach voice here on the GENG side.
잠깐 나오는 거 맞대도 될 것 같아.
오케이. 집 안 갈게요, 그러면.
So I'm not going home.
나는 집 갔다 올게.
So just talking to Duro about how Duro has been playing this one out. So that is basically what it is. Just giving him some tips on what to focus on moving further forward. And obviously, it did kind of work because then they got 2 kills.
Yeah.
You can't fault it.
Yukel is able to stop Canyon initially there, but they just don't have damage. They don't have the setup there. I think it was a very optimistic contest, and it backfires in a big way. GENG 2,500 gold up, way faster than they were last game around. They're the ones who have the first dragon. DRX did get the grubs, which eventually got a second plate for them in the mid lane, but the situation here looking fairly dire.
Yeah, the problem is that the money is on Chovy and Ruler.
Yeah.
That's precisely not where you want the money to be.
Ondo got the kill onto Ruler earlier as well, not Ju.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. I'm sad we didn't get a full replay of that one, of Ruler being like, maybe he'll use his last shot and we kill him. And then he dies.
And it didn't quite work out, but watching a very bloodthirsty support go for the flash meep slap, that was definitely very fun. So glad we saw that as he takes the magical journey out.
Yeah, the Electrocute Bard Jin lane did not generate the lead that DRX were looking for in this one.
Yeah, getting cleanly duo killed was probably not the thing they wanted. As Tempered Fate goes down, Curtain Call comes in as well as now GENG looking to try and turn it. The Cyclone is enough just to kill Andil outright as now Willa inside the Cataclysm, but who's trapped in where with who is now Jiu looking for a little bit, but Ruler is right behind him, and now Canyon just going to transfer over towards killing Yukel to keep himself safe. True Shot Barrage onto Jiu, the flash forward from Chovy, the easy 1-2 punch here as GENG throw out the alley-oop, and it's 8-2. GENG really rolling over them now.
Yeah, nearly doubling the gold lead that they had moments ago. From 2,400 up to 4,200 here. Very much a disastrous early game here that is probably just going to spell the disaster, the end here of DRX. As we've talked about, like, game times and stuff like that. The game time where the Nexus explodes hasn't changed as much as maybe people have said, but your ability to come back in games like this that gets so off the rails. So I'm looking at you, Romer, yesterday. It's just not really possible. As you know, there's not a great target for Gio in this fight. He like shoots at Canyon. He's like, yeah, my carry on the top. Yukal, like, I can't really peel for him that well with this. And then Yukal just kind of tries to rejoin and dies. And they chase here for some reason, which is kind of absurd. Gio gets hit by the True Shot Barrage. Chovy gets the flash finish. And it's starting to look like a little bit of Harlem Globetrotters at this point. Some quests start to get completed.
Yeah. This is going to be an uphill battle. Let's just say that 4,000 gold is the lead. That is kind of where, like, I feel like DRX got out to a pretty decent advantage at the beginning of game number 1, and it was turned around by GENG. But it's really going to take some heroics here in this game. And I mentioned already that this is a kind of composition where they will have damage issues if they are not ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
they are not ahead.
Cassiopeia is just kind of hoping the game doesn't explode, the Nexus doesn't explode for a while. And, you know, when you look at what the Jin is trying to do, it relies on a front line that, I mean, Sion's ahead.
Yeah.
There's,
there you go.
That's kind of a thing.
Almost 400 gold.
Yeah.
Absurdly good. All right, so Rich just needs to try and transfer that lead into getting more done, as the Magical Journey will get Andal to.
Now you've just got a Hail Mary, right? Look for that Chovy side lane pick again. Maybe that'll work. It worked out kind of okay on the Azir in game 1.
Oh. These Mystic Shots are really starting to hurt. Ruler is doing some damage now that Trinity Force is now complete. He's almost 2,000 gold ahead. Golly.
Yeah, he's kind of large. It's a bit of a problem. They wanted to try to collapse onto Chovy, but Chovy stayed back, played safe. The rest of the team comes over. And now they have Prio on Dragon. And they'll gladly take another double Dragon here. This DRX is in game 1. This time it'll be GENG's. And I just don't think there's a real contest in this one. DRX tried last time.
Well, let's see what they can actually get done here. It's actually Ruler that takes down the Dragon. Tempest Fate does nothing, and down goes the Bard. Now Willer is in a lot of trouble himself as he has to flash to get himself out of the way. Yukal not going to be so lucky. Petrifying Gaze onto 2, but it does not matter. There is no follow-up, and that is another couple of kills swiftly going over to GENG, as all of their quests have now been completed. And Gio does get a bit of a wave shoved in towards this turret, but I don't think in the neutral he's really going to be able to fight against Ruler here, as Willer comes down, does find the Cataclysm.
Ruler has flash and barrier, and Gio is reloading again. Ruler's like, try me.
Oh no. Well, he will find that bullet. Ruler is going to have to possibly use something to get out of the way, but there was no vision, and so therefore it is just not going to happen. Canyon moves in, but he's just trying to deter them from sticking around. And yeah, we don't need to look at the top lane. It's not all that interesting, as Andal might be dead again, as Shield of Daybreak, not actually quite enough there, but they're just going to follow him through his Magical Journey. So there goes the Bard once more.
You know, the analogy, you miss every shot you don't take, doesn't necessarily mean you need to take every shot. Gio has been, certainly he's been pulling it out. Every time he gets a chance, he is going to escape here, but his turret is not long for this world. Rich is getting collapsed on. And that candle analogy, you know, maybe it's a bucket of water this time for GENG.
Well, you can see Rich is just bailing himself out of there, as Gio is also going to die. Chovy and Ruler making short work of the Jin. The Sion, as we can see, is defecting. Just thinking that maybe GENG is going to be the right call for this game. But he is just going to be able to make it out. Cute little use of the Unstoppable Onslaught to make sure that he is going to survive. But GENG, in the meantime, will be taking the Rift Herald, and it's a 7,000 gold lead.
Yeah. This is the second Dragon contest where we're like, not sure what the plan is here. We do have a Cassiopeia and a Jarvan setup, but we don't actually have the ability to close the gap. We have no setup here. Send it anyways. Like, they have so many tools. If this game state is closer, and if they had Prio, it could have worked out.
Oh, in the meantime, got a bit of a fight here towards this bottom side. Solar Flare not quite getting the stun onto Yukal. Looked like it was very, very close, but good sidestep there, avoids that. But it looks like Duro and Keen will be able to absorb this pressure, actually doing a bit of damage back towards Yukal as well. That Eclipse now completed. And Ruler with some spare time. This is what happens. I mean, DRX overloaded the bot side. They had a few extra members there. But now Duro's actually going to go for this, as now Yukal could be in trouble. The flash out of the way from the Tempered Fate means that Yukal is just dead, and Willa tries to get back towards that side of the players. Okay, Duro, straight underneath the turret, is actually surviving for a very long time and uses the Rift Herald to get himself to safety. Willa is going to be ran over by the Rift. What the heck was those coach comms? They go into Duro's ear and say, all right, can you just pilot the Rift Herald to murder someone as you are almost definitely going to go down, and then watch Ruler get a solo kill in the mid lane? That was probably not what was said, but we did hear that he was giving Duro tips.
Yes. Wow, that was everything. I was gonna say that was something, but I think it was actually quite.
That was everything. A lot of things.
Yeah. No summoners for Duro in that exchange, by the way. Just all clean, you know. Go in, tank for Canyon to get the charge, reboot into the Herald, and then turn around and grab the kill. The Ruler's just making a highlight reel over here.
Yeah, he is. Willa might be able to kill him. He did have the barrier available, though. There's a Cataclysm avoided, and Ruler outplays him to pick up the double solo. Rich is going to turn up, and that's going to make it too hard as Deadly Flourish does come down. But I think the damage has been done, as Gio is immediately punished now for killing Prince Ruler, and Canyon will be able to deal with that as he flashes forward to pick that one up. Now, Rich, oh, they just left. As Yukal is teleporting in,
yeah,
that's why.
TP is just a little bit too late. I want to get an instant replay of the fan cam, because the fans were like loving that Ruler play, but the second they wanted to give the support, he just got shot by Ju there, and they just promptly had to look sheepish and be like, well, I mean, it was a good play, but you know, the timing was awkward. And yeah, right now, I feel like the only thing we don't know about the end result of this game is whether Ruler or Chovy is going to get POM.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because, like, Chovy, game 1, 100%, game 2, perfect KDA, but it's kind of been the Ruler show here.
And Ruler had a pretty good game 1 as well. So, I mean,
recency bias means my prediction is Ruler's going to get it, because, I mean, watch this.
I mean, he does this, right?
Yeah.
And that might be enough just to get it regardless. Man, that was a sick outplay. What was that, is what he said.
I want to say he called him a youngin as well there at the end. If I understood that correctly. It's like He's like so much older than Will, and he's just like, I guess I have better hands than you, bro.
Yeah. That is a very Ruler thing to say. I would not put it past
like
whatsoever.
Who's the younk?
Yeah.
1 year off, that's what you get.
Damn. Well, I mean, just shows that, you know, some of these hands that have been around for a little bit longer are still working just fine. My excuses are running thin, let's just say that.
Oh, God, Ruler. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe with the smack talk on top of it, he might get my vote. We'll see what happens the rest of this game.
All right. Well, DRX, they're not out of it just yet, but they're very close. It's 11,000 gold, and we do not want to, you know,
they are out of it, Alice.
Yeah, we don't want to say anything that may lead to us sounding like we are not being a bit disingenuous. We don't want that. This game is borderline over. As Canyon is going to get engaged on here. Let's see whether he can find something as the Cyclone does get a couple of knockups. Surviving for a very long time, however, will be taken out. But look at these health bars. They're so low. Great sidestep there from Chovy at the same time. Does get interrupted, so he's not realm warping away, but that might be a dangerous thing as he gets a big old shield from the Seraphs, and in goes everyone. Ruler's now showed up. That's a bunch of extra money. I mean, Giu does manage to get the kill onto Chovy, so that is a big deal for picking up that cash, but I just don't think it's going to be worth it when Ruler is going to be picking up his 9th kill in a couple of moments.
Yeah, I mean, does this really change the landscape of POM votes that much? Like, it was really impressive from Chovy, but it wasn't an actualizer highlight, you know? It was.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, he ghosted, which is cool on the patch. I mean, yeah, Ruler killed a Scion, so that's not really like that many points in his corner either.
Oh, but he tanked the zombie Scion, which I think is a big deal.
I mean, some points in Ruler's column is also not going. He's not going for the double tier build, which you know, I think it's fun and double tier is back and that's cool, but I don't think it's that good. Chovy here doesn't get the realm warp, and then they regret it, as you said in the play-by-play.
Yeah,
he does massive amounts of damage here, and then Duro shows up, gets on the back line, and Chovy's sacrifice was not in vain. Rich survived for a really long time, which is kind of cool. Are we just gonna
wait? We're gonna go for this. Oh, the pro view. Okay. Didn't we have? Never mind. He was saying something, so we will be able to get all of the info.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He called him a youngin, essentially. I was right.
He's like, I'm so young, and now I'm older. As he died. As we've got a little bit of a fight here towards the top side. There's a public execution. Tempered Fate locks up a few of them. But unfortunately, Andil is still going to die. Yukal also looking a bit worse for wear as it's a triple kill already for Ruler. And let's see whether he can lock down the Penta this time. Rich is going to go down for the Quadra, and Jiu is just running for the hills. Another denied Penta here for Ruler. Unfortunately, they are still going to run after him, but it's just not going to be enough. And he gives up, says that he'll take a purple worm instead.
Close game.
Yeah, I was. Look.
Well played. Good try, DRX.
Yeah. It's another Infernal Soul, Wolf.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's cool. Twice in a row.
I think
what are the odds?
The game will last long enough for that to come through. Oh, Jin versus Turret. Turret wins!
Oh no! There's the Penta! There's the Penta! Unofficial Penta for Ruler! Turn on the stats page!
Oh my god, turn it off, I can't! Like, that's just inappropriate to show that.
It was definitely inappropriate. That was a sad time.
Like, that might have been the lowest point in Jiu's career. Like, that specific moment might be, like, the worst he has ever felt in a pro game.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And if
maybe it was when Guma sniped him.
I was going to say, like, if you've been watching for a while, then you'll know that that is a big call. That's a big call, unfortunately.
Guma killing him on the Smolder game might have been the most low point, but
yeah.
Oh god,
it didn't feel great for anyone, I think, involved, as Ruler does one shot towards that turret to do 1 billion damage to it. Willa almost just dies as an afterthought as in goes Canyon, finds the Cyclone, and down goes Willa. Now Ruler is moving forward. Tempered Fate does not find him, but Petrifying Gaze, it does. Public Execution gets right in amongst it, as it's a double for Ruler so far. Chovy grabbing a kill himself. And man, this Ruler guy is pretty good at this video game. 17, 2, and 6, and finally, GENG will put DRX out of their misery.
Yeah, pretty quick game 2 here. 24 minutes in. Game 1 a lot more interesting. DRX decided to send it big on those 2 Dragon fights. They came up with nothing. And when it comes to the best team here domestically in the LCK, you give them an inch, they take a mile. And they smash game 2.
My goodness.
In very convincing fashion. This is our first look at this roster post-Worlds, and it looks pretty scary.
Yeah, it looks kind of the same. Yeah, and it was very scary. Remember how many games they won in a row? It was like 29 matches or something absurd. And like that included EWC and MSI and all sorts of stuff. This was a team that just did not lose throughout most of last year, and obviously they didn't win Worlds, and so you can say whatever that means to yourself, but I mean this roster is absurdly strong. So kudos to DRX for their game 1. Game number 2, I think maybe they used all of their energy in game 1 and unfortunately didn't have enough left in the tank to withstand GENG the second time around.
My comment, I've got it ready. I'm sending it in, I'm locking it in.
Are you just going to copy exactly what Dan said yesterday? The stop it, he's already dead? Because that's basically what happened this time around as well. Was there a Ruler that got it for you as well? Is that how it went?
Yeah, I did go with Ruler.
Okay. I don't know who I would have voted for, but I don't have a vote, so it doesn't matter. I don't have to know who I would have voted for, so I'm not salty about it.
It's not an easy one, but I don't know. Ruler did do a lot of stuff in game 1 as well.
I mean, he had like an incredibly pop-off game in game 2, so I think he probably deserves it for that.
Like, you
Plus, we get to talk to him about those crazy comms, which I think is very important.
Chovy,
yeah.
He always gets it, man.
Yeah.
Like, just give somebody else a chance. Like, that's not even the first time we've made that joke, but this also happened.
Yeah.
Okay, no 4th shot for you.
Look at this. Lolook at his
kite back.
Okay, this is just going to be a Ruler highlight reel, isn't it?
Yes.
Missed a Mystic shot. Probably should go to Chovy.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll take it all back.
This one we've seen like 4 times now, but it's always good for another rewatch.
Yeah.
Watch this guy.
Oh, barrier value.
Flashes the Cataclysm. See you later. And then Duro here sets this one up. They're so split.
다시 노플.
And like the Bard ultimate, it kind of almost did a thing.
They were so far behind.
He wants the Penta so badly. Look at Gio.
Yeah, Gio's just like,
All right,
no.
so Gio gets away, but is he really the winner in the end? Because look, if we speed up,
Oh no, that's not going to be
Ruler
highlighted.
does eventually get the unofficial Penta.
No.
The unofficial Penta.
Whoa, we're not going to. No, we're not watching it again. We're not watching it again. We can't do that to him.
Oh yeah, we are.
Oh God. All right. Well, I mean, he's still there.
Surely we watch it again. Surely
We're
the
watching it
unofficial
again.
Penta.
We're in the midst of watching it again.
균형
What's he going to say?
죽여달라는데?
I think he's gonna die, and he dies.
Yeah.
이공식 펜타네.
Yeah. He's like, that's my Penta. That's my Penta. Give it to him. Give it to him.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about my Ruler vote.
Yeah. I would say that the ruler vote's looking pretty good, and the damage numbers are not looking great on the DRX side. GENG really just kind of running away with it that time. And all that DRX got in that game was some grubs, basically. As POM will go over to Ruler. 6-1-4 actually on the Corki as well. So
yeah, his Corki was pretty insane.
Yeah.
Like a little bit overshadowed, I think, by the Azir play to a certain extent, but it's a Ruler day, and I'm happy that he's back because we didn't get to have him at Kespa Cup. He got haircuts. And the limit has been broken. Let's see how far they can go.
The double limit breaks is just so dangerous here on GENG, and both of them have now popped off, and looking forward to seeing what they can do later on in the week. It's not exactly the most difficult week for GENG this time around, so maybe we will have some more Harlem Globetrotters out of them. I believe it's tomorrow that we have the first real barn burner, but of course our match coming up next is also going to be very similar to that. But man, GENG, yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised, but I think we're just glad that they've kept up the form from 2025 and brought it forward here for 2026.
I think the carries are scary, all right? I think the early game for DRX, the pre-plan that went into that, very strong. I like how much utilization they had of Coach Comms. Game 2, that game was kind of unplayable after the first disaster, and then the second one got worse, and then the third, like, Dragon contest made it just so it was 100% done.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can look at Game 2 and be like, I guess DRX aren't as good as they were in Game 1. Well, that game state was pretty unplayable. So I think, let's see what DRX have in store for us in the next series.
Yeah, and I think maybe things can be looked at as far as the draft and all that sort of stuff. So there are certainly some things to be looked forward to. And this was their very first match in 2026. This is a new roster coming together, trying to figure things out. And as soon as you add in a new jungler especially, it is a bit of working to be done to try and get that synergy back. Because, of course, largely the jungler is a lot of the glue that can make things work. There's a little bit of a delay as far as the interview is concerned, but I know that
Toby's
you guys
like, it's
all...
my interview, right? Like, I always get these.
Yeah. But also, we need to make sure that we're around for it because Ruler needs to explain what he was talking about. As you can see right here, preparing for it now, and we will have Hedgie alongside him, asking him all of those big, juicy questions to make sure that he can let us know all of that information. I'm pretty sure he's going to be ready pretty soon.
Yeah, maybe he had to take a quick restroom break after he just chugged his water after the Penta was taken from him. He just one-shot his whole water.
He like one-shot 3 people on DRX and then one-shot the water immediately afterwards. That's sort of how it went.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a pretty good explanation.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the second series. I'm also looking forward to this interview.
Yeah, let's get into the interview now.
Thank you very much, guys. Interview translation. We are here joined by Ruler on the side of GENG, who just secured a 2-0. Congratulations! Thank you. With GENG's victory, Baron Group takes their first win. So, you won your first match of LCK Cup. How do you feel? Our first match was a victory. It just makes me really happy, and I want to make sure that we're ready for our match. From Game 1, DRX was absolutely locked in. And they also chose second pick from Game 2 and seemed to utilize Coach Voice pretty well. So, how did it feel playing them? It wasn't easy. It was pretty tough facing them. And I think we had a really good match against them. What was challenging about today's match against them?
전체적으로 좀 힘들었습니다.
I think it was overall pretty tough. So winning that tough match must make you really happy. And game 2, you're Ezreal. You got an early duo kill in the laning phase and got many more solo kills. And going lethal tempo really must have paid off. So did you consider this kind of skirmish? Yeah, I think lethal tempo Ezreal is really hot right now. And I really wanted to play more aggressively and push into the enemy, so that's why I wanted to just go with lethal tempo today. Yeah, with these montages and highlights with your Ezreal, we want to take a look at these replays. That's right, I'm still young. Ah, suddenly I'm old again. So Ruler, you said I'm still young. Did someone hurt you about your age? What made you say that? You know, Duro always tell me that I'm so old. He just calls me an old man, so that's why. Yeah, Ezreal is Ruler. Ruler is Ezreal. You got an unanimous POM vote with your Ezreal. Please give it up for Ruler. And that unofficial penta as well. You know, was it a bummer that you didn't actually get a penta? Yeah, it was, but you know, I'm sure I'll have more opportunities in the future. And everyone's been saying that this is the biggest bot meta update, so how important does bot lane feel after playing on stage? Yeah, I think the laning in bot definitely has become more important. I feel like in the early to mid game though, the upper half of the map is more important, more crucial as of now. And your roster stayed the same, but head coach Ryu actually joined the team, so how have you been getting along with him? You know, in game, he has been giving a lot of help, so I can feel that I have been getting better. And yeah, I can feel the difference. There are so many fans on site today. And it looks like there is this cheer fan sign. That is very supportive of you, 두쫀젠, which is a wordplay about how GENG has double buzz cut. How creative. You know, your parents are even here today to cheer for you. What do you think? I know everyone is all so attentive about my hair. They're always focused on my hair, and I could really use less attention on my hair, but you know, any attention is good. Thank you so much for your support. And any word for your parents? I feel like they didn't really cheer me on that hard today. So maybe next time, please cheer for me harder and louder. Okay? How affectionate of a message. And your next match will be against KT. I'm sure you're eager to win. What is your mindset? I want to be well prepared, just as how well prepared we were today for our next upcoming match. Thank you so much. And that's the end of the interview with Ruler. I'm back to this.